Hey everybody, it's Hannah
and Marlow.
It is time for our next trip. We're really excited to let you guys know that we're going to Bryson City, North Carolina.
Yay!
Ooh, it is in the Great Smoky Mountains. We are super excited. The Great Smoky Mountain National Park is in Bryson City. Part of it is in Bryson City. We're going to be staying at Deep Creek Tube Center and Campground.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know any of this. I know we're going there, but I just don't know any details at all. We haven't talked about it. So, yay! We're going to learn together, guys.
I'm really excited. This campground is... Hey, Zoe. You're a good girl. I'm sorry. The dogs are just all up in our business. This campground is one that I grew up going to every summer. Sorry that this is so chaotic. Anyway, this campground is one that I grew up going to every summer when I was a kid. And Marlow has been to Bryson City one time, but has never stayed in this campground. And I haven't stayed in this campground in many, many years.
Also, the one time I went was during COVID or like around COVID time. And so I didn't get to explore the downtown or whatever, the touristy part of it. So I'm excited for us to maybe get to do some of that.
Yeah, so we stayed in a private cabin that time that she was with us, and we pretty much just stayed there the whole time, made our own food and stuff like that. So it'll be really fun. So on this trip, it's funny, it's like they know no poodles are going with us on this trip.
Oh, yeah, the poodles want to hear about it
They're not invited. That's right. And the reason for that is, first of all, it's the heat of the summer, and
yeah, the last trip we went on was just too hot for all of us, honestly.
Can you fit in my lap right now? It's too hot for them. The last trip was too hot for everybody, honestly, even us. It will be cooler there because we're in the mountains, but still, it's so hot. And another reason is there's so much work. It's so hard to take them camping, especially with it being summertime. Taking the poodles is really challenging. This place does not have a dog park, and the main trail area where you can walk up the creek, dogs are not allowed.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And
we also thought, since this is a newish place for Hannah, this is a new place for you guys, definitely a new place for me. Exploring and doing all kinds of stuff is much easier without having to worry about the poodles or worry if a place is dog friendly or not.
Yeah, so we can do a lot more exploring and looking in at the places in the little town, since we're not going to have any dogs with us. So
maybe like if we go back here sometime, we can bring the poodles. Yeah. But just for my first time, I'd like to be childless.
Yes.
And be able to just do whatever I feel like.
Yes. So this campground stays super busy, super packed. So we were only able to get 3 nights at this campground.
That's another reason why we didn't want to bring the poodles. It's just a lot. Yeah,
so we've got a lot of exploring and fun to be had in a short amount of time. So I'm going to pull up their website and just read a little bit. So the campground has a pretty big camp office and store, has food and drinks, touristy, like souvenir kind of things, camping supplies, tubing supplies. So the big thing to do in Bryson City, also known as Deep Creek, the big thing to do is go tubing down the creek. I've been tubing many, many times. Marlow's been tubing
3 times.
3 times.
In one trip.
And it kind of ended in disaster with, I think, my tube deflated, which like basically never happens. I think that's the only time and that's ever happened to me, and like I went every year for like 20 years of my life or something. Not quite that many, but I went every year for years and years, and that's the only time that's ever happened to me. So anyway, we had to ride together
because we weren't quite at a spot where we could get out and get help yet. So we had to use my tube, and I laid just flat on the tube like this, and then Hannah had to lay on top of me.
So that wasn't fun. It was kind of scary. And
We kept getting towards the side, and there were spiders, and I was just like, I literally felt like throwing up because I thought spiders were gonna get on my head, and I was just completely pinned underneath Hannah. So I was like, if they get on my head, I'm just gonna have spiders on my head. Like, there's nothing to do about that.
So Marlow was a little bit traumatized from that experience. So I'm hoping we can go tubing this trip and redeem tubing for Marlow.
I think I'm gonna try it. I might get there and be panicked and like just have a breakdown and not want to do it. But barring that, I do want to try it again because I want to have a good experience.
Yeah.
And this last trip that we're talking about, where Hannah's tube popped or deflated, it was fantastic. It was the best trip down the
creek.
Yeah.
Because the water was up a little bit and we weren't getting stuck so much.
It wasn't as cold. Like, it was just it was a great run. And I was like, okay, this is fun. Yay. And then
my tube deflated.
And then it was just the worst one.
So we're going to go tubing. We're going to try it again. And hopefully it'll be a better time.
I think it will be.
I think it will be. That's the only time that's ever happened to me, ever.
That'll be such a fun video.
Yes, so we're going to be filming so many videos.
I'm going to put that on here.
We're going to be filming videos here for YouTube. We're going to be filming videos for Facebook. So make sure that you're following us or subscribed in both places so you can see all of our videos.
Yay.
So the campground has Wi-Fi. In the past, the Wi-Fi was only up at the camp store. Maybe they've changed it since then. I hadn't stayed there, maybe in like 10 years. A large, clean bathhouse. So they must have revamped the bathhouse since the last time I was there as well, it says.
Because it used to not be
Because it used to not be... Well, no, it was large and clean, but it used to not be individual rooms.
Ooh.
And now it is, apparently.
Okay.
So it'll be really fun for me, who grew up going there, to see how it's changed.
I didn't know they have on-site tubing.
Yeah.
That's great. Is that what we were planning to do?
Yeah, so you could get in there, but we're not going to do that. We'll drive into the park.
Uh-huh.
And there's a place where you can park and you go up, you walk up a ways and then tube down. And so we can get out at that campground or a little bit before.
Okay.
But they rent tubes out from the campground, and there's a couple other places that we typically go to.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. And
ooh, this is going to be so fun.
Yeah, so they've got a playground. I think they've got multiple playground areas if you bring any kids. They always have lots of fun with that. They've got
volleyball court.
They've got a volleyball, and they've got one of those things that's the pole and you like hit the ball. Yeah, tether ball. They've got a petting zoo with goats.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you like that place?
It's kind of fun to go check out the goats and listen to them scream and stuff. I mean, it's fun.
It's so fun to go see the goats and listen to them scream.
Well, it's not like screaming in a bad way. It's just, I feel like goats only have one volume and it's like screaming.
Oh.
So they've got a little covered pavilion area with some picnic tables. And they do have laundry facilities on site, and they sell ice and firewood. So it should be really fun. And so the town is like it's very like small town vibes.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of little shops to go in that are so fun, and there's little like ice cream parlors and little restaurants, and it's just gonna be really fun. I'm so excited.
Just like walking around and kind of window shopping and people watching,
taking it all in.
Yeah, and like deciding, oh, like this place looks good, I'm getting hungry, let's eat here. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited.
Okay, I've got this up. It's the things to do in Bryson City. So it says there's hiking trails, there's waterfalls. I wonder, are there waterfalls where you don't have to like hike too far?
There are a couple that you can see without having to hike too far.
That's cool. Maybe we
But there's one that's kind of good, but it's kind of a... I mean, I've walked it before, but
maybe we can find one that's not too strenuous and go hiking and see a waterfall. Tubing, we already talked about. Mm-hmm. Whitewater rafting,
will not
Yeah,
be doing. 0 out of 10. I'm scared.
Yeah, I think I'll be one of those people that fall out and then get stuck and I die.
We don't do a whitewater rafting.
No. Elk viewing.
We're not going to be biking or motorcycling.
What's elk viewing?
I don't know.
Observe the elk in the Great Smoky Mountains. I guess you just
I've never seen elk ever in my whole life.
I bet you just like are hiking or going on a walk somewhere and they're like, there's likely to be elk here. Yeah, it's nothing specific.
No.
Okay.
So one thing is, especially when you're staying in the park, so Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Bryson City has a campground. Obviously, National Park is the National Park campground. We're not staying there because they don't have electricity or water hookups. Maybe they have water hookups. I can't remember. I kind of think they don't.
What?
In the park.
Oh, not us.
No.
Okay. I was like, Hannah, no way. They have Wi-Fi, no water.
No. So in the park. So we're not staying there because there's no electricity. But so if you do stay in the park, there's lots of rules because there's bears in the park.
Mm.
Probably we won't see any as far out as we're going to be, which isn't that far out. It's like pretty much just before the park, but
well, it is.
They don't usually come that far out.
It's pretty bear time right now, I think, right?
I have no idea.
Horseback riding?
I do see people horseback riding. I won't be doing that.
Oh, okay.
Horses scare me. And it's like, you know, they can sense your fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't get past it.
Well, if we could find a 2-person kayak or a canoe, maybe we could
so.
do that. We've talked about before trying to rent a kayak or a canoe at Harrison Bay, but we're both. You haven't done it before?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so neither of us have done it before, and we're both kind of scared that solo something's gonna happen. Like either we'll get too tired and like can't row back, or we'll get in a current and like get swept out and then get too tired and can't row back. So
for myself, I know that I'm not strong enough. And
I think you're strong enough, you just would get tired quickly, maybe.
My sense of direction is terrible and I'm afraid I would get lost.
Yeah, if we got separated at all, I probably would get lost on the water. Like, I don't know. I would just, I guess you just go to shore and then try to figure out where you are or something. I don't know. But yeah, especially when it's in places that don't get good cell signal, it's not a super comforting thing to do when you've never done it.
Right.
But if we could maybe find a place that has a double, we would do it.
Maybe so.
We'll look into that.
We'll do a very scenic drive there.
And back.
And back.
Okay, so we'll make sure while we're driving. We'll make sure while we're driving to get lots of clips of that if we remember. This place is not a steel trap like it used to be.
Well, that's going to be your job to remember because...
You're the driver.
Yeah, and here's the thing. About the drive to Bryson City. It's scary. It's very windy, uphill, downhill, one-lane roads right next to a huge drop-off into the water. And on the other side is a humongous mountain with rock slides. So I've driven it before many times, and I've pulled a camper there one time. And
said you would never do it again.
I said I will never pull a camper to Bryson City ever again. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it. If time has passed and I'm brave and it'll be fine. It'll be okay. But it's very stressful. It's not an easy drive for me personally. Probably the more I pull a camper there, the more I'll get used to it and it'll be better. But for me personally, the drive is going to be very hard and tiring. And so I won't be remembering to film clips because I'll be holding the steering wheel like this.
So there will be probably a lot of times where I won't film either so that I can focus on moral support and just like making sure we're seeing everything so that we don't.
Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is during all those windy parts where you're either gonna be in a rock slide or in the creek, There's no cell phone service.
That made my stomach hurt.
So if we crash, nobody's coming to save us.
Yeah,
Actually, you know
okay.
what's gonna happen is I'm gonna be driving so slow that there's gonna be like 30 cars in a line behind me. So if anything happens, they'll all see it.
Well, speed racers can cross over into the other lane and go around. If
They
that's,
can't
if that's what they
because
want.
it's the solid line and you're not allowed to cross. But there will eventually be places where 2 lanes emerge and they can pass us if they want to. But
can
I'm going to
pass
be
it
driving
on
slowly
rest
and
is what I
safely and
meant.
not worrying about who's behind me. Anyway, we're really excited. It's going to be a really fun trip. We're going to have lots of things to show you. We're going to do some cooking, some eating out, some exploring, some tubing, and who knows what else. We're going to be daily vlogging here on YouTube. We're going to show you the campground and the city and everything else. So get excited, get hyped. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.